Hello YouTube, LJ Draco here. This is now the review that I have actually wanted to do this week. um, yeah. Anyway, if you saw my video on Monday, I got the 3D edition of Captain America Civil War. I went out really early to go and get it. Yeah, so let's talk about this. Now, just for people who don't want to watch it yet or haven't seen it yet, I'm going to put in this title spoiler review, and it's also going to be here now on the screen with me. So if you haven't seen it, don't know anything about it, and don't want to watch it yet, please don't watch this video, okay? If you like me and don't really care, then go ahead, watch it. You'll know something from this. Anyway, this is not going to be a totally big broken down review, because in the end, film reviews came out when it came out in cinemas. Now, there was tons and tons and tons of actual film reviews in cinemas. Only reason I do my 3D Blu-ray reviews or certain movie reviews is because I like doing them when they come out on 3D or Blu-ray. Because I don't like talking about the whole film in a whole general. I don't like talking about the cast into proper detail, just because everyone already knows all that stuff. I just want to give you my thoughts and my opinions on the 3D quality and what I just generally thought about it anyway. So anyway, let's get into this now. Sorry, I'm stuttering quite a bit, because before this video I shot my Remains review, and I'm still kind of shooken up and angry about that. But let's not make this review an angry one. Let's get into this. So yes, this is Captain America Civil War. This is the third installation to the Captain America series of movies. The first was the First Avenger, then Winter Soldier, and now Civil War. Now, I'm going to be honest about this. I'm not going to go and be silly. I hated this movie when it first came out, and I will tell you why. I hated it because the cast, yeah, they're still great, but they kind of lost that certain edge to them from the first Avengers and Age of Ultron. So seeing them again, and was it Wanda Maximoff, her voice, her accent, it's kind of gone back to being slightly American in the third one. So that was kind of a downer, because I thought she'd done a really good Russian accent for Ultron, but she's just kind of worn down. It was just seeing these characters again and again and again, and I like seeing them, but they lost their chemistry. They didn't feel much like, and especially they didn't have Thor or Hulk, so it was a bit of a letdown. But I watched it anyway. I watched it twice, and yeah, it was okay. But we were promised two things. We were promised the death of Captain America, which didn't happen, and we was promised 3 main character deaths, including Cap's. And there was none. And they tried to replace that with non-important character deaths in the movie, and to me that didn't feel okay. I didn't feel alright with that. I felt like I'd been a bit cheated for my ticket. But I have to admit, action sequences were good. That they did bring the people to the cast they were supposed to. So I'm going to get more into that. Okay, so as you know, we've already got the 2 factions. We've got Team Cap and Team Iron Man. I'm sorry, but I'm always going to be Team Iron Man, just because Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is probably the best MCU character to exist anyway. And I'm sorry, but his Iron Man is a great portrayal. So yeah, but this is the 2 teams after an incident in Wakanda. The team led by Captain America went horribly wrong. They had to sign this thing called the, I think it's not the Wakanda Accords, it's the something Accords. I can't really remember. I didn't get to watch the 3D film properly at the moment. I've only seen, I watched a bit of it just so I can do this review to give you an idea. But it's the something Accords. I'll probably put the name for it down here underneath me. Where they have to sign this thing saying that the Avengers will be a government group, and they will not do anything unless they are ordered to do it by the government, because they've caused too much damage. And what happens, Iron Man's giving a speech at a college, and he's funding all these young scientists for their projects. And as he walks out, this woman approaches him and gives him a photo of her son and said, your team destroyed him. He was in Wakanda. Oh no, he was in Russia. I can't remember the name of that place either. I'm sorry, I haven't watched this film for a proper film for ages, so it's weird about, but yeah, they were in the kid was in Russia, I think it was, and he got destroyed when the Avengers and Ultron had the problem. And she goes like, "What? Like my son was a good kid. He done so much to help, and your team let him die." And it kind of hit Stark really bad that his team think they're doing good, but they've actually caused a lot more damage. So he makes the point that they should sign the accords to, you know, obviously do what the government want. Cap agrees that he shouldn't. Cap agrees that they should do what they think's right, because that's what saves lives. So obviously, I'm not going to get into all the little details about what happens in between and blah 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 blah. But let's get into another main part where the Winter Soldier comes into it. Now, the Winter Soldier was reported to have blown up a meeting that was during the appointment and during the time of the accord signing, and young Black Panther, his father, got destroyed. Now, I'm so sorry, I do not know the actors' names who play Winter Soldier, and I do not know the name for the the guy that plays Black Panther. Sorry, I do talk too fast. But I don't have to know their names, because like I said, as wanting to act myself, I like to refer to people as the characters they are playing. So Black Panther is that actor, and the Winter Soldier is the guy who plays him. I can't say their names because it's not. But Iron Man, I have to first Robert Downey Jr. because I don't see Iron Man. I see Robert Downey in an Iron Man suit, so it's hard for me to do that. But yeah, so Black Panther's father dies, and he has a grudge against the Winter Soldier. Then, you know, the teams start building up and building up and building up. We did get a few really, really good surprises in this movie. That's the only thing I like about it is we've got a lot of good surprises, a lot of good scenes. Like I said, this review, I don't want to give too much on the whole movie, so I'm just going to do the points that I like, and then I'm going to go into the actual 3D Blu-ray itself. So here's the two things I'm going to mention that I enjoyed. Let's just jump straight to it, right? Because everyone knows the movie if you've seen it. Airport scene, right? Now, this is the part that I was waiting for the movie, right? You've got, on Team Cap, you've got Captain America, Winter Soldier, Falcon, Hawkeye, and Wanda. And Ant-Man. There we go. There was one surprise. Then, on Iron Man, so we've got Iron Man, War Machine, Vision, Black Widow, and Black Panther, and Spider-Man. There we go. Everyone was looking forward to the new Spider-Man. Everyone was looking forward to that. So we've got two really badass teams. And may I say to the MCU, well done for giving us a Spider-Man we can actually be fucking proud of. He was an amazing Spider-Man. He was a teenager. He had the quippy attitude, the proper quippy attitude. Not that whole Andrew Garfield attitude with the, oh no, a knife, my only weakness. Not that. He was like just a teenager who was like loving all these heroes. And that's what made it more interesting. Okay? The fight scene was very well choreographed. It was awesome. I love Black Panther's lines in it. I like Spider-Man's lines in it. And yet, one of the biggest surprises of all, Ant-Man into Giant Man. Now that was awesome. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant scene. Anyway, as you know from that scene, Cap and Winter Soldier fly off and do what they have to do. It was a really emotional scene because Iron Man didn't want to fight. He was hoping they were willing to come quietly, but you kind of knew that wasn't going to happen. That was the whole point. We wanted to fight. But yeah, this film did do justice at the fight scene. And then I'm gonna just put it here now. Spoilers for the end of the movie. If you've not seen it, please don't watch past this point. They're now back where the other Winter Soldier projects were held. Iron Man kind of realizes once they all go to that special prison under the ocean that it wasn't Winter Soldier that killed these people. It wasn't Winter Soldier that done all the damage. So he goes to try and tell Cap that he's only sorry, and he understands that he was right. So he goes and meets them, and there is the most stupidest villain I've seen in the MCU, Baron Zemo. Not because he's human, just because he had no interesting quality about him. I don't see him as a villain, I just see him as a pissed off guy that just wanted to take revenge on... Okay, fair enough, his family got killed during the Age of Ultron thing as well. So I can see his revenge as a dad, but he was still a pointless villain. I mean, he's Loki will always be the best MCU villain. Gotta give love to Loki. But this guy just, his plan was, because he couldn't fight them physically, he'd make them tear each other apart throughout the team. To me, that was a clever plan, but done by the most dumbest person. Because surely he should have known that they were all going to work it out eventually. But this is the bit I want to get to. And it's the scene where Baron Zemo shows Stark a clip of like a road camera catching footage of his parents. And you can see how heartbroken he is because he recognises the car, he recognises the road, and Cap's just standing there like, I already know, but I can't say nothing. And then you see the Winter Soldier kill his parents. And the hurt in Iron Man's face. And then like it's also the fact that he turned around to Cap and said, "Did you know about this?" And he couldn't lie to him. He just said, "Yeah." I mean, that fight they had at the end was probably the most emotional fight I've seen between any heroes in film. Because Iron Man wasn't fighting Cap because of the thing. He was fighting Cap because his best friend lied to him about something that was obviously really, really important. Knowing that for all this time and not telling him, that was a dicky thing to do. But in my opinion, I'm going to give this down now. Iron Man fucking won that fight. Iron Man won. Cap should not have won. I know he did in the comics, and I know he had to in the movie, but no. MCU has made so many changes to the comics. They should have let Iron Man keep that fight. Right, he blew Bucky's arm off with his chest cannon when Bucky tried to rip it out. He should have won that fight. He should have won. But I've got to give props to Cap because Tony Stark shouted that was his dad's shield. He doesn't deserve the shield, and he drops it. Because he knows he doesn't. So I said I wasn't going to talk about the entire film, just the points that made me actually like the film. Because the film, as a general, made me angry. There was so many disappointments, but there were some good scenes. I know everyone's going to go, what about the Black Panther scene on the roof chasing Bucky on the bike? That was a great scene. But it was nowhere close to the other two scenes. I'd much rather Black Panther's bit where Hawkeye goes, "We haven't met. I'm Clint. I don't care." There. Black Panther's awesome. I like that so much better than the other scene. I mean, yeah, staring up at the helicopter while being shot with bullets knowing they're not going to hit you. That was awesome. But yeah, anyway, Black Panther had his own scenes that he destroyed that was better than that one. But I just want to talk about the parts that made me actually like the film. Because I hated it until the airport scene, and then I hated it between the airport scene to the end scene. And then the end scene stole it for me. Brilliant, brilliant job towards the ending. It made me really enjoy the movie. Okay, I know a lot of things happened after that. But you guys already know the rest of that. So like I said, that was just a small review on the actual movie. The reason I do the review is to talk about the 3D. Now, this is the bit where I like. Okay? Now, I test all my 3D films when they first come into my house because I have to see what the 3D is like. Which people go, don't do that, just wait until you watch the film. But I don't like doing that because the problem I have with that is when I go straight from buying the film to watching the 3D straight away. If it sucks straight away, I'm not going to watch it. And that's what I want. I want to know whether I'm going to actually watch this movie or not. Right, with Jungle Book, there was a slight miscommunication. The 3D still wasn't excellent, but it did look better when I finally plugged my high-speed cable in. It still had a bit more noticeable 3D than it originally did. But I put Civil War in, and I went, go to the scene where the 3D is going to be the most noticeable. Now, everyone knows the scene is the airport scene. And that was full screen beauty. Now, I was absolutely smacked by it. So I was like, yeah, I like this. And I watched the whole fight scene. Like, this looks awesome. And then I got my fiance sitting next to me. I said, look, I want you to see what this is like. See if you want to watch it in 3D. So she said, okay. So that, and we rewatched the entire fight scene. This is the first time she saw it in 3D. Second time I've seen it in 3D. So watched it again. And then we realised after the fight scene, it goes from full screen to widescreen. So it is confirmed now that if you haven't bought the 3D Blu-ray, it's just like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's IMAX 3D, that shift between screen cuts and stuff. And I don't particularly like IMAX 3D movies because of the Transformers Age of Extinction 3D I picked up, because their shift through the IMAX sucks. Makes no sense. It looks like Captain America has the exact same 3D as Guardians of the Galaxy, which means the cutscenes where it's just people talking or doing non-important stuff, it's widescreen but still good. But when it's like big exploration, action-packed scenes, it's going to be full screen. And that, to me, is okay. I can still watch a film like that. Even though I don't like it, I can still watch a film like that if it's still good. And it looks like the widescreen 3D is still just as good as the full screen, so I'm definitely going to watch the whole 3D in this. Now, I never got to do an actual review on this film, and I never got to do, I didn't get to do my review properly about this movie. So I'm going to do it now, and I'm going to give it its rating. The movie itself got a B+. Didn't get the A because of the things that was missing, and I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. So it gets the B+ for the standard film. For the 3D, I'm going to smack it to an A. I think I'm not going to give an A+ because there still is problems with the film. I only give extra points if the 3D is good. That's it. If the 3D is good, 3D will always make me enjoy a movie slightly better. So, I'm going to give this one an A. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you guys don't like this review, and I'm sorry if it's not like the others. I don't know. I wanted to get this one done. But if you did like it, and you do like other videos I've done, please subscribe, because your support has been coming through quite well recently. I'm enjoying talking to you guys in the comments, and I'm really, really grateful that you guys do comment and show that you are interacting and interested in what I'm doing. And if you are, don't forget to strike that like for future videos that are coming on this channel, and I will see you soon. Thank you, YouTube.